So now we're going to talk about first aid issues. A lot of people are out working in their yards and doing things that they might not normally do on a regular basis. So chainsaws, hand clippers, using ladders. I'm not good on ladders, and I know my husband isn't as good on ladders as he used to be. We all get a little iffy. So if you're on a ladder and God forbid you fall, and somebody comes across you, what we're looking for is whether you hit your head or not. And the reason being is you want to make sure that there's no spinal injuries. So very quickly, anytime anything happens, you're always going to call 911 first. We want to generate the police and the ambulance. You can always cancel them. So get them coming and cancel them if you don't need them. A ladder injury, a fall, any kind of broken arm, broken leg, you want to stabilize. You're not going to move. So if somebody has a broken arm, you can ask them to hold it in place like this. You can get a piece of wood or a magazine or a blanket and wrap it around it in place to hold it. If you have any kind of major bleed from anything, whether it be a cut from a clipper, a chainsaw, or a knife, whatever you're using out in the yard, a bleed, all you're going to do is hold pressure, okay? If you hold pressure and somebody brings you a cloth and you put that cloth on and hold it, and you can elevate to slow it down, you can use a little bit of ice to slow it down. But once you have started holding pressure, you don't want to remove that. You want to keep it there until you know the bleed has stopped. If you're looking at it and the blood is coming through, just keep adding more onto it. If it is bleeding through and it keeps bleeding through, you need to go to the hospital. You probably are going to need stitches. Just don't take it off. You start clotting almost immediately when you get cut, and whenever you pull the bandage off, you remove that clot and you can start the bleed again. So always hold pressure, and if it's bleeding through, add things to it. And if it's bleeding through, you probably need stitches, so call the hospital. If you fall and get puncture, something ends up impaled in your arm or any part of your body, don't remove it. My brother one time rode a sled into the woods and came out with a stick sticking out of his thigh. And we literally had the vet up the street remove it. My mom never took anybody to the hospital. But anyway, you don't want to remove it. You're going to stabilize it, pack something around it, and get them to the hospital. Because if you rip it out, it could be something like this, where when you pull on it, you're pulling over here, you could rip the skin further. So you don't know what's underneath. So you want to make sure that somebody is paying attention and can figure that out, whether it's with an x-ray or just fiddling with it, but let them do it so you don't do any further damage. Pack stuff around it to stabilize it, call an ambulance, or take yourself to the hospital one way or the other. If you fall and hit your head and you're off, you're different, you're altered, as we say, you want to make sure that you get that checked out. Yes, you can hit your head and go, ooh, just for a second and be fine, but if it's something that continues on, you want to get checked out right away. You can whack your head, and sometimes it'll swell out, and sometimes there'll be nothing at all. But if you're altered and there's no swelling, there's a chance that there's more damage underneath. You could have a cracked skull, you could have a bleed that's causing issues for you, and nobody can know that without equipment. So you need to go to the hospital to get checked out.